Olá, sejam todos bem-vindos à nossa Escola Superior de Advocacia da UAB do Rio Grande do Sul. Hoje estamos aqui num evento diferenciado, né? Num evento que trata sobre o ecossistema de startups da República Tcheca. Com alegria, com satisfação, recebemos hoje o cônsul-geral da República Tcheca em São Paulo, o senhor Milos Sklenka, né? Seja bem-vindos, né, cônsul. Também os painelistas Hight e Kamil Blazek, né? Também está conosco aqui o cônsul honorário Dr. Fernando Azevedo, seja bem-vindo à nossa escola. E eu quero aqui fazer um agradecimento muito especial ao Dr. Alexandre Mello e a toda a sua, enfim, composição dos colegas que tornaram possível a realização deste evento, vez que esse evento seria realizado pelo grupo de estudos da nossa escola, que trata sobre as startups, né? Aliás, direito para startups. Então, diante da magnitude, diante da relevância, diante dos nossos convidados que receberam e aceitaram o convite do Dr. Alexandre para estarem aqui conosco, tomamos, então, a iniciativa, em nome da nossa diretoria da nossa escola, de proporcionar a divulgação desse evento para todos os demais advogados que tenham interesse, não somente aos colegas que fazem parte do grupo de estudos Direito Startups da nossa escola. Quero também aqui cumprimentar a todos em nome do nosso presidente, Dr. Ricardo Breyer, né, que é o presidente da nossa UAB, que vem fazendo todo um trabalho forte e incessante nesse momento tão difícil em que passamos com essa pandemia, um trabalho que nos impede de estarmos presencialmente, mas que, por outro, né, faz com que a gente esteja aqui, né, com um evento dentro dessa virtualização que permite estarmos com colegas advogados da República Tcheca, com o cônsul que está em São Paulo, enfim, com diversos setores aqui em Porto Alegre, né, no estado do Rio Grande do Sul. Quero também aqui fazer um cumprimento e um registro especial a doutora Gabriela Roth, esse é o nome correto, né, Alexandre? Que ela faz parte também do grupo de estudos Direito Startups da nossa escola, que aqui se colocou à disposição de fazer toda a tradução para os colegas. Então, nós estamos, né, com um público que está lá no canal do YouTube da escola, onde nós temos, né, diversos colegas interessados, porque nós vamos precisam ouvir no inglês, e ela está se esforçando nesse sentido, e aqui os do português para o inglês e vice-versa, né? Então, quero mais uma vez dar os parabéns a todos os envolvidos, e especialmente os cumprimentos aos nossos visitantes, e passo de imediato a palavra ao cônsul-geral da República Tcheca em São Paulo, senhor Milos Sklenka. Seja bem-vindo. Desligue o seu microfone, cônsul, por gentileza.
Sim. Obrigado pela palavra. E mais uma vez desejo um bom dia aqui no Brasil, uma boa tarde na República Tcheca. Em nome do nosso consulado-geral, gostaria de dar as boas-vindas a este webinário sobre o ambiente de startups na República Tcheca, que é promovido em conjunto por nossa missão diplomática, Ordem dos Advogados do Brasil, seccional Rio Grande do Sul, e a Escola Superior de Advocacia em Porto Alegre. Em primeiro lugar, quero agradecer a nossos parceiros brasileiros pela sua cooperação muito útil e eficaz na organização deste evento. Em particular, a Rosângela, Herzer dos Santos, diretora da Escola Superior de Advocacia, Alexandre Mello, coordenador do grupo de estudos de Direito para Startups, e Fernando Lorenz de Azevedo, cônsul honorário da República Tcheca em Porto Alegre. Ao mesmo tempo, gostaria de agradecer do lado tcheco a senhora Hight, a especialista legal para startups da agência Checklink, que é agência governamental de apoio a negócios e investimentos da República Tcheca. E também a senhora Kamil Blazek, o presidente da Associação para Investimento Estrangeiro em Praga. É claro, não posso esquecer de agradecer a minha equipe no Consulado-Geral aqui em São Paulo. Seguindo o que havia dito pela senhora Rosângela na introdução, queria apontar que, após as duas palestras, nós faremos uma breve sessão de perguntas e respostas como público. Eu tenho certeza de que as próprias palestras, juntamente com subsequente discussão e interação dos palestrantes como público, irão enriquecer-nos de novos conhecimentos, ao mesmo tempo contribuir, sem dúvida, para o desenvolvimento da cooperação tcheco-brasileira. Neste âmbito, gostaria de enfatizar que o desenvolvimento da relação bilateral, aprofundando e ampliando a cooperação mútua através do comércio, através da busca por novas oportunidades de negócios, apoio a investimentos de empresas tchecas no Brasil. Tudo isso está entre as principais prioridades da atuação diplomática do nosso Consulado-Geral aqui em São Paulo. As empresas brasileiras interessadas em fazer negócios com a República Tcheca ou para desenvolver uma cooperação científica e tecnológica ou uma cooperação na área de inovação, são bem-vindas. O nosso Consulado-Geral, junto ao escritório da agência de Czech Trade, aqui em São Paulo, ou a embaixada em Brasília, estamos sempre prontos para servir de ponte para conectar as empresas dos dois países. E não apenas empresas, mas também instituições estatais, associações empresariais, instituições científicas, tecnológicas ou as universidades. Neste contexto, gostaria de lembrar que este ano comemoramos 100 anos do estabelecimento das relações diplomáticas entre nossos países. Todos vocês podem ver o logotipo preparado para esta ocasião pelo conhecido artista brasileiro, respeitado cartunista Cláudio de Oliveira, que estudou na Escola de Artes Industriais na República Tcheca no início dos anos 90. Então, aqui estou terminando mesmo. Eu gostaria de passar a palavra à primeira palestrante, a senhora Anna Hight, de Czech Invest. Muito obrigado.
Thank you very much, and good morning, everybody. I will start sharing my screen right now so you can see. However, I will have to ask Mr. Consul General to stop sharing the screen so I can start sharing mine. Thank you. All right, perfect. I hope everybody can see my presentation right now. And once again, good morning, everybody. It is a great pleasure to be speaking to you today and to share with you some insights into the innovation ecosystem in the Czech Republic. My name is Anna Hight, and I represent the Startup Support Department at Czech Invest. Czech Invest is an investment and business development agency of the Czech Republic. The agency was established in 1992 and is governed by the Ministry of Industry and Trade of the Czech Republic. We have two main goals. The first one is to attract foreign direct investment here into the Czech Republic. And the second one is to support and nourish the local business environment. Our main office and headquarters is located in Prague, but we also have offices in all of the regions in the Czech Republic. And on top of that, we are present in those 8 countries that you can see on the map. These are some basic information about the Czech Republic. Our country is conveniently located in the heart of Europe, which makes it very easy to reach partners and customers all over the continent. For example, from Prague, you can get to any major European city in approximately 2 hours of the flight time. We are the members of the European Union since 2004. However, we still use our own currency. The official language is Czech, but English is very common second language, especially in major cities and especially in the areas of businesses and investment and startups. Now let me give you a brief introduction into our startup and innovation ecosystem. One of our strongest sectors is definitely ICT, especially in the areas of like artificial intelligence, gaming, and cybersecurity. One of the most well-known tech company from the Czech Republic is Avast, which is a cybersecurity giant. What is really important as well, and what I would like to highlight here, is the strong university and education background and network that produces very good quality experts in all of those fields. For example, just in Prague, we have around 100 artificial intelligence experts graduates every year only in Prague, which makes Czech Republic a place with one of the highest concentrations of the AI experts in the world. When it comes to gaming, which is also one of our very strong sector, our gaming studios produces world-famous games such as Mafia, Kingdom Come, and Beat Saber. That was acquired that was acquired by Facebook last year, and the industry of gaming keeps growing. Looking at the Czech innovation ecosystem more broadly, I would like to highlight one important fact, and that is that we are the innovation hub of the CEE region. Looking at those different information and facts, we are a low risk investment country. We have a very low unemployment, very good quality tertiary education, long-term political stability, and also high investment into R&D. This supportive system is one of those reasons why the Czech startups grow bigger. As you can see on the picture on the right side, most of our startups are located in Prague, which is the capital. Almost half of them actually, and out of the other half, I would say more than the half, that makes it a quarter, is located in Brno, which is our second largest city. So, very important part of the whole ecosystem are innovation centers. Incubators and accelerators and co-working centers. Almost all of the major Czech universities have their own kind of a business incubation center or innovation center where they can also incubate the ideas that emerge from those universities. Those are just a few examples of the incubators and acceleration programs that we have in the Czech Republic, and also those that have experience with working with foreign startups. For example, Startup Year, the first one, it's one of the oldest, or is the oldest acceleration program here in Prague, and has already accelerated over 70 companies, with many of them being from outside of the Czech Republic. Here, I would like to present to you some of the most successful startups from the Czech Republic. Some of them were acquired by the big players. For example, Apiary was acquired by Oracle. We had Cognitive Security that was acquired by Cisco, or Vitica acquired by Twilio, or more recently, Stories that were acquired by Workday. Out of those startups, I would also like to mention Product Board, that has just raised the biggest investment in the Czech startup history in their Series B. That was led by one of the most famous venture capital funds, Kleiner Perkins, and the investment was around $40 million. So when I introduced our agency earlier, I also mentioned that one of our main goals is to support and nourish local business environment. So let me tell you a little bit more about that, specifically how Czech Invest supports startups through all of our programs that we have. So our support is aimed at technological companies that are no older than 7 years. And our programs follow neatly the development path of a company. So for those that are just starting and really need to focus on setting up their inner processes, they need to decide their business model, find their first customers, or set up their marketing strategy, or just really setting up their brand. We have the Czech Startup Program, which is basically 7 months mentoring and consultancy program where companies can work with our mentors portfolio. The rest of the programs, the 3 of them, the Czech Demo, Checkmate, Czech Accelerator, those are aimed at the companies that are already looking into expanding to the foreign markets. I'm going to talk about them a little bit more later, but here we go. Each of the program is also designed to address different needs of a startup. So I was talking about the Czech Starter earlier. This is this one. So this one seeks to address the need to get the basic know-how on how to set up their business, how to find the good clients, and also how to identify those clients. So that is the Czech Startup program. The rest of them are really more targeting the companies that want to go abroad. So, for example, Czech Demo program brings companies to the major foreign conferences. So they can present their product, maybe find first customers, or even partners, or even to get the valuable feedback from the audience. Since 2017, when all of the programs started, we have already visited all of the major tech conferences around the world, namely CES Las Vegas, which is one of our most favorite conference, or the startups' most favorite conference, not ours. We go to Tech Ranch Disrupt San Francisco every year. We visit tech days all around the world and Slush in Helsinki or in Tokyo. What we offer to startups is that we pay for the 75% of the cost of the conference booth, and we cover their airfare, their tickets. Then we have a program that addresses the need to network or to find investors or partners and potential clients. That program is called Czech Match, and it's basically 1 week of the matchmaking program in one of our 4 target destinations, which are London, San Francisco, New York, and Singapore. Then we have our backbone program, or backbone activity, which is called Czech Accelerator, and this is the most complex program that kind of like compiles everything, all the little bits and pieces from those programs all together, and basically it offers companies to go to the market and to be present there through the 3 months acceleration program. We run those programs in cooperation with our partners in 4 of them, in 4 destinations, again in London, New York, San Francisco, and Singapore. This is an overview where do we send our companies through the programs. The most frequented destination and the one that is the most favorite is definitely San Francisco, where we have already supported around 50 companies going there. But a part of that, we have also visited conferences in Canada, China, Singapore, Portugal, UK, and more. In cooperation with European Space Agency, Czech Invest also runs the European Space Agency Business Incubation Center in Prague and in Brno. The ESABIC program is specifically for teams that are working with space materials or space technologies that can be used 2 ways. It can be downstream. Let me find this, yes. Which means using the technologies that are traditionally used for the space industry here on Earth, or it can also be upstream. That means the use of technologies in space. In practice, it means that some of the companies are creating small satellites and so on. So here is the overview of our startup support in the past 4 years. We have supported more than 150 startups now, and on average, that means before the current coronavirus crisis, we were sending 5 companies abroad each month. And as I mentioned before, the most favorite destination is North America. The prime destinations really is San Francisco, that is followed by New York, and then London and Singapore. As our goal is to support the whole innovation ecosystem, we also have one activity that is aimed on connecting startups with investors. It is called the Checklink Startup, and basically it is a database, anonymous database, where investors can find suitable startups, can request meetings with those startups and more information, and that should ideally lead to the investment made in the startup. The program was just started earlier this year, and we already have one case of investment. So another activity that we do, or we're trying to do, is to help foreign startups to set their foot here in the Czech Republic. Last year, we managed to organize the first incoming mission into the Czech Republic that consisted of foreign startups from Germany, Serbia, Hungary, and Finland. We put together the whole week that was packed with mentoring, consulting, and also networking. And this year, unfortunately, we can't do it due to the current crisis, but no need to worry. We are putting together a similar program. This time it's going to be all virtual, and it will specifically target the Latin American startups. So please stay tuned. The program is planned for November. So far, we are currently putting together the agenda, and there will be more information available in upcoming weeks as well. So apart from what I have mentioned before, we also organize plenty of events, workshops, panel discussions, and pitch nights. We are trying to bring together the whole ecosystem, to connect them, to also let them meet people that they wouldn't have met otherwise. This is why we also work with embassies here in the Czech Republic, and we had the pleasure to be invited to the breakfast at the US ambassador's residence for the startups to meet with him and discuss. We are also trying to bring our partners from Silicon Valley, from New York, Singapore, and London here into the Czech Republic and organize what we call roadshows, which is basically a series of panel discussions, meetings, and workshops all around the Czech Republic. So we can also provide the Czech startups the opportunities to meet with entrepreneurs from abroad and share the experience. We are also running an informational portal that gathers information about the Czech startup ecosystem. So if you're interested, here's the website. And yeah, what I would like to mention is the startup visa support that we have. So let me begin with the disclaimer. There is actually no such thing as startup visa per se. However, startups are included as a type of employer right here in a broader program, which is called Key and Scientific Personnel. So the program aims at the non-EU employees that are either statutory representative of a company or a key management personnel, such as CEO. There are several conditions for the employee that has to be met. The company or the startup that they're applying for has to be included in one of the incubation programs in the Czech Republic, and or have to have an investment contract here. Also, the company has to have the Czech registration. And after all conditions are met and the documents submitted, we can fasten the application process through our embassies and consulates. Well, that is for me. That is it. Thank you for your attention. And you can contact me anytime for information on my email there that you can see. And also, I'm here to answer all of your questions.
Thank you, dear Ms. Anna. I'd like to thank you for your presence here. And... Muito bem, eu só gostaria de fazer, antes de passar a palavra para o nosso próximo convidado, eu gostaria de fazer um agradecimento aqui especial à Escola Superior da Advocacia da Ordem dos Advogados do Brasil, da Seccional do Rio Grande do Sul, na pessoa da nossa diretora-geral, a doutora Rosângela, pelo entusiasmo e a dedicação com que ela conduz a nossa escola. Em especial, um agradecimento também à diretoria da ESA, em nome do Grupo de Estudos Direito para Startup, que desde o começo acolheu o nosso grupo, a nossa ideia, e com isso estamos aqui buscando qualificar advogados, estagiários, na condição de prestadores de serviços para startups, de tomadores de serviços para startups, e também, de certa forma, também como empreendedores. Nesse passo aqui, registro, então, um agradecimento muito especial pelo apoio incondicional realizado pelo nosso Consulado Geral da República Tcheca em São Paulo, na pessoa do cônsul, o senhor Milos, né, que também acolheu o nosso pedido e colocou todo o seu staff à nossa disposição, em especial os nossos palestrantes. E, nesse aspecto, o grupo de estudos, só fazer uma breve referência aqui, o grupo de estudos está estamos na nossa terceira edição, né? Nessa edição, nós estamos fazendo um trabalho de cotejo comparativo entre os diversos ecossistemas, né? Já tratamos do ecossistema de Israel, o ecossistema dos Estados Unidos, em especial da Califórnia, da Dinamarca, da China, de Singapura e de Portugal. Esses já foram tratados, né? Hoje estamos tratando aqui dessa apresentação do ecossistema da República Tcheca, e ao final desses estudos, que ainda, né, tem outros países que serão, outros ecossistemas que serão objeto da nossa análise, ao final desses estudos, nós pretendemos construir um material identificando as melhores práticas desses diversos ecossistemas, a fim de que a gente possa apresentar essas melhores práticas para aplicação no nosso ecossistema regional, de forma a fomentar a advocacia para startups em todos esses aspectos que nós referimos anteriormente. Também gostaria de fazer aqui uma especial saudação para a nossa colega de grupo de estudos, doutora Gabriela Roth, que está aqui bravamente, né, de forma voluntária, nos auxiliando a todos aqui com a tradução dentro desse esforço que todos nós fizemos de maneira absolutamente voluntária. A nossa primeira palestrante, como vocês já puderam identificar, né, a senhora Hight, ela é gerente de aceleração de startups na agência governamental para apoio do investimento na República Tcheca. Então, ela nos apresentou um pouco do ecossistema de startups na República Tcheca. O nosso segundo palestrante é um advogado, Dr. Kamil Blazek. Ele é presidente da Associação para Investimentos Estrangeiros na República Tcheca. Então, ele vai nos apresentar agora formas de constituição e desenvolvimento mais comuns para startups na República Tcheca. There, Mr. Kamil Blazek, I'd like to thank you for present here. And I invite you to show us the most common business structure and how to open the startups in Czech Republic. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed as well, and a very good day to all of you from the República Tcheca, from Prague. I am very glad to be here with our distinguished auditorium and be able to speak to you via video conference. I'm sure that 6 months ago, we would never come to the idea to organize a video conference. We would be waiting for a plane to bring us over to Brazil, which may not happen in the next couple of years. And also the coronavirus has some good positive consequences. It brings us to the idea that we can speak directly. Anyway, let me try to open and share my presentation now. So do you see the presentation now? Great, excellent. Well, so ladies and gentlemen, first of all, apologize for me not speaking Portuguese, or so I have to speak in English, but and I will try to speak slowly to make it easier for the translators. So please, if I'm too quick, let me know. Now, and I understand that we have something like 15 minutes time. So I would say the presentation will be brief. We'll cover the basic structures, and I would be very happy to answer more questions and more details during the discussion. First of all, for my introduction, as it was already mentioned by Mr. Mello and Mr. Sklenka, I have sort of dual position. I'm on the one hand chairman of the Czech Association for Investment, which is a public to private partnership that works together with the Czech government, Czech Invest, and private companies in the Czech Republic to attract foreign investment and generally support investment environment in the Czech Republic. And we have been working with Milos Sklenka for many years in a number of countries before Brazil, and I am very happy we can continue to do so in Brazil. At the same time, by background, I'm a lawyer. I'm a partner with international law firm Kinsteller, and Kinsteller is a member of the Association for Investment, so that's why I have been elected also chairman of the association. And at the same time, I'm also very glad that I understand this event is organized by the Chamber of Lawyers, Chamber of Advocates, or by the Bar Association. As obviously I am myself a member of the Bar Association, I am also a member of the board of the Czech Bar Association, so I'm quite active in the national and international activities of the Czech Bar. So I think that brings some addition to this discussion. But not to spend much time on the introductions, I will just say for my professional background, I have started my legal career some 25 years ago in Prague, and I have been working in a number of areas, including corporate M&A and support for investors. In the presentation, there is also a CV, so you can see more in that. Now, I will try to change the slides. Is it okay? Slide 2 now, do you see it? Okay, good. So, well, number 1, 2, and 3. Well, at number 1, I will actually skip those slides because that's only some information about my firm that my colleagues from marketing typically include in that. So that we'll just flick through it and now go directly to the area number 2, which covers starting business in the Czech Republic. Now, to cover the most important part of the presentation, I would start with some very basic facts. Some of them may be known to you. Well, Czech business environment is, in my professional view, not only as an investment supporter, very favorable for business. It is fully aligned with the European legislation, and it is at the same time as the Czech Republic joined the European Union later on. It will be almost 20 years now, but it is, I would say, less bureaucratic and less protective than some of the Western European jurisdictions. So if you compare ourselves with France, with Germany, with Italy, many things can be made easier. The protection of, for example, of employees is less strict, so it allows for more flexibility for the entrepreneurs. We do have a stable economy. You see the numbers for 2019. Of course, the numbers for 2019 may not be relevant anymore. You see a growth which compared to Brazil may seem low, 2.5, but it was one of the top growth rates in the European Union. And we had the lowest unemployment in 2019. That was both positive as well as negative. The negative side was it was not so easy to find good people. We do have a lot of good people, well-educated labor force, both mid-level as well as university graduates, as my colleague from Czech Invest said. But the good impact of Corona that we will see on potential investment and on ability to welcome people and companies from Brazil in the Czech Republic, the good influence will actually be there will be more flexibility on the labor market. It is expected that by the year's end, the unemployment may go as high as to 9 to 10%. Relatively low corporate tax rates compared to EU, certainly. Full membership in international organizations, including the protection by the arbitration treaties, by Energy Charter treaty and other international agreements. I will not go into the full list of that, but in principle, Czech Republic has been part of basically almost all multilateral investment agreements and other similar treaties. Competitive living and labor costs, solid infrastructure. What is important to note in terms of investment and investors, and in particular startup investors, because intellectual property is one of the key issues. We have a good level of protection of intellectual property rights. We have again been, Czech Republic is part of all relevant international IP property rights agreements like Berne, Paris treaties or Universal Copyright Convention. The last point on the agenda, and maybe just a control question now. Am I too quick for the translation? Shall I slow down? Or is it okay? It's okay. Okay, good. The last point on the agenda on this slide is the future. Well, there is a saying that it is always difficult to make predictions, in particular if it concerns future. However, I am reasonably optimistic. What the crisis will have for an impact in the Czech Republic will be a decrease in the GDP, higher unemployment, and strong impact on certain sectors of the economy, on some manufacturing, on tourism, on hotel industry, on automotive industry, and that will be very visible. But there are many other industries that will continue to prosper and grow, and the problems will at the same time give flexibility to the market and will create new opportunities. So it will be quite different crisis. I assume that maybe the same situation in Brazil, it will be quite different crisis to what we have seen in 2008 and 2009, when the financial systems and banks were severely hit. Now at the moment in Europe, in the Czech Republic in particular, you have plenty of money, plenty of cash, a lot of investment potential and appetite, and the banks are actually ready to finance any reasonable projects if they are in areas with future prospects. So therefore, I am quite optimistic and believe that the crisis will actually will have a good end, which may take another 6 or 18 months, but it will go up again. Now, basics for startup businesses and companies. Again, I understand all people on the webinar are lawyers. So maybe one thing first, in terms of legal order, Czech Republic is fully aligned with the European Union. As you may know, certainly majority of legislation, more than 50%, is actually now really unified across the European Union. That goes for the Czech Republic as well. So you would not be surprised by any bigger thing in business environment. If you come to Portugal, France, or Czech Republic, it will be very similar. Second, the legal order is very similar in the Czech Republic to the German and Austrian legal system. So if you have some understanding of how it works in Germany, it is quite similar in terms of civil law, commercial law, contractual law, and company law. As you may see on the slide, there are 4 basic types of companies in the Czech Republic: limited liability company, joint stock company, limited partnership, and general commercial partnership. Again, for normal business environment, the first 2, LLC and the joint stock company, are the most used. What a foreign investor can do, and sometimes do, they do a branch office registration, which will basically be a part of the foreign entity being registered in the Czech commercial register. And by that registration, you will receive the same rights as any other Czech company. So obviously anything that you do here will also be fully liable and fully to the balance sheet of the parent entity. So the branch office registration, typically it's done for trading purposes. If it's something that involves some level of risk or financing, you would typically establish a local Czech company. Now, which company you establish and how easy it is. Limited liability company, as I say, and because of time constraints, I will not actually go into much detail on the other 3 types of companies. You will see some details later on, but I think it's fair to say that 98% of foreign investors in the Czech Republic would use the LLC as a vehicle. You may go to joint venture company if you purchase via acquisition or if you have structured shareholding. If it's 1 or 2 shareholders, irrespective whether it's a bigger or a smaller investment, you would go with LLC. It's very easy to file, very easy to establish. It takes now, from the moment that you deliver all documents to registration, something between 2 to 3 weeks, which I think is short enough. Of course, there are countries where you can do it in 1 day, but we are not here to compete with tax havens. The trouble, of course, is to collect all documents from a foreign country with all the proper translations and super legalizations, apostilles, and that may take some additional weeks on the top of the registration process. It's established by notarial deed, no requirements for basic capital. It can be 1 crown. However, what you can do and what you need to do, you need to have a bank account, which is typically at the moment, in the past 2-3 years, the biggest obstacle in terms of time, because to open a bank account, everything else, can be done by a law firm that gets a power of attorney, and you need to verify the signatures by a notary in the home country, ship the documents here, and we will take care, or any other law firm will take care of the rest. That would be a typical example. With the bank account, because of compliance and anti-money laundering rules, it becomes increasingly time-consuming to open a bank account within any bank in the Czech Republic. So you need to deliver a lot of documents, do a lot of know your client procedures, and it has happened in particular with small companies with not very clear shareholdings, that it took weeks and weeks until the banks opened the account. That can be circumvented by acquiring a ready-made company, which is something we do have. There are suppliers on the market that sell them, and you can buy the company immediately, and it's an existing vehicle. So if you don't have time, you can buy a ready-made shelf company. It is a safe solution, and it's used by a lot of very reputable international players as well. So there's not really that much need to be afraid. Two things, executive directors. One question: do you need a Czech citizen to have a Czech company? No. You can have executive director in case of LLC. One is sufficient. You can have one shareholder. The shareholder can be natural person or company. It can be the director at the same time, and it can be, for example, a citizen of Brazil. No need to speak Czech language, etc. So that's also possible. I will not go into details on the next 3 companies types, but will be happy to answer questions if you have them. What is important to note on the branch office? The branch office registration, again, it's registration of an office of a foreign company in the Czech Republic, which enables you to be fully business admitted for doing business in the Czech Republic. It's similar process, but you don't need to establish a new entity. However, again, you need to have someone who is the director of the office. You need someone who is, and you need to open a bank account as well, by the way. There is an overview which compares the sort of main features of the company types: limited LLC, joint stock company, branch office, and rep office. I haven't mentioned rep office, but I mean, rep office is something that you would typically understand a rep office anywhere in the world. It is a representative office that does not allow you to perform business. So it is basically a marketing post, but you are not able to do business activity with a representative office. At the same time, representative office does not require any formal legal registrations. Process for registration, I already mentioned notarial deed, bank account. For the specific type of activity, depending on what the company, what the startup wants to do, you may need, or you will need, a trade license. There are very simple licenses. Most of them are actually per request only, which are issued within 2 weeks for things from starting from marketing to trading activity. There are more structured activities such as manufacturing, trading with weapons, and things like that, where you need special licenses, and of course you need to fulfill special requirements. But again, I'm not going into this details, because I would expect that a startup, in particular at the beginning, would be fully sufficient to act with a normal simple trade license for activity such as trading or marketing, or, for example, software development. here is a slide with some more details on which documents are required for registration of a company and what you need to bring. Again, I will not go through those documents in detail, but if you have any questions, I'm happy to, of course, to answer them. What is important to mention is residence permit policy, which is in terms of traveling to the Czech Republic, the normal travel requirements apply if you want to do business here, including staying here as a director of your company or employee of your startup company. You will need to apply for a residence permit. There are generally two types of residence permit, either a business permit, which applies, for example, to directors of a company. They have a claim to acquire a residence permit on the basis of being a director of a new Czech company, or a residence permit related to employees and to employee card. So you will have to become an employee, and in that process you will also be able to request and obtain residence permit. It is a process that is time-consuming, but it's not related to the establishment of the company itself. You can do the establishment of the vehicle and beginning of the activity irrespective of residence permit for your employees. In fact, you will have to do it before. Last but not least, last slide. Am I okay with the time? Okay, so I will be quick. Good. Couple of maybe interesting things that you may not expect. Some of them I already said. Number one, high level of public transparency. Czech Republic, even compared to almost all other EU countries, has relatively big level of openness of information about number of things, about companies and company register. Everything that is, almost everything that is in company register is actually publicly available in the internet, including not only all historical details about companies, but including share transfers, certificates, articles of association, extracts from commercial register from parent companies, and any other documents that you file. You will find it right now from Brazil in the Czech internet. The same goes to real estate. A real estate property register, all real estate is registered in the Czech Republic. All ownership, including all rights registered, including all maps, is fully publicly available, actually free of charge as well. So you are able, again, from Brazil to find out who owns that small piece of land next to our offices, for example. And you will be able to request a purchase agreement to find out how much they paid for that piece of land as well. And the same goes also for insolvency register and for trademarks registers. Again, all of that is open and actually instantly available on the internet. Just to know that it's not bad. It's something we are used to, but it's not something that is typical for most of other countries. Biggest headache, bank account in terms of establishment. I spoke about that. Third, local directors needed? No. As I said, it's useful, of course, but they are not required. Four, business culture. We can speak about it in the discussion, but comparing, if I would be speaking on a seminar in China, I typically would tell them, if you know Germans, it will be much more like Germans. Despite Czechs are sort of Slavic nation, we are certainly much more German oriented by nature, by way of doing business, by way of negotiating things to Germany and Austria. Bureaucracy, yes, you will find it here in the best tradition of German, Austrian empires. We do have a lot of bureaucracy, but we also have good lawyers that can help you with that. Foreign investment control, there's up and coming legislation across the EU including the Czech Republic, that will enable the governments to control investments from non-EU countries into also Czech Republic, if it concerns some areas of importance to the national security. That may include things like health, support material or software development as well. Whom can you trust? Well, I think that's a long question. It's a long answer, so I'm happy to answer it in the discussion as well. But the very simple answer to that is, Czech Republic has, over the past 3 decades, since we joined the free, liberalized Western world, become a very well established democracy with very well functioning justice and court system, and relatively low level of bribery compared to a number of countries that lie to the east of the Czech Republic. In that context, again, my comparison to Germany is actually quite valid. And you just need to, obviously, to have a good selection of people to whom to go. The embassy, the general consulate, Czech Invest, but also the Association for Foreign Investment will be happy to advise you on this. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Mr. Kamil, thank you very much for your presentation. And we have the first question here. Please wait for the translation. It's about controlling personal data at startups in the Czech Republic, especially control of geolocalization by the state. But please just wait for the translation. I will speak in Portuguese. A pergunta que agradecemos, né, a apresentação por parte do Dr. Kamil, e já registramos aqui uma primeira pergunta oriunda do nosso grupo de estudos e comissão de proteção de dados aqui da nossa OAB, né, tratando do seguinte. Ele refere que o governo da República Tcheca utiliza dados de geolocalização dos celulares relativamente a aqueles usuários que testaram positivo para a Covid, e que esses usuários eles mantiveram aproximação social com o objetivo de implementar ações de quarentena ou outras medidas de confinamento. No Brasil, também temos esse tipo de tecnologia de controle de pandemia. Bom, enfim, a pergunta é um pouco longa, mas talvez o ponto central seja esse, né? Se teria alguma informação sobre controles de que forma foram implantados ou exigidos pelas autoridades tchecas para preservar os dados. Então, a pergunta, em síntese, é a respeito da proteção de dados pessoais por parte do Estado e por parte no âmbito das startups. Do you understand the question, Kamil?
Well, I heard you speaking, but am I supposed to? I didn't hear any translation yet.
Okay, but the question is about the control of personal data by the state through the startups. Could you tell us about this kind of situation? The control of personal data.
Well, I'm not a data control expert, but I will try to answer as best as I can. because actually data control has become quite very specific and very deep field of legal expertise over the past years. We do have, and I'm not sure whether you are familiar with the concept of the GDPR, which is the European General Data Protection Regulation, which is well, it is an EU regulation. It is an EU law, which means it's immediately applicable to any EU country, including the Czech Republic, for now 2 or 3 years. And we have also already issued an implemented act on this as well. So any data control, any data disposal, any collection of data needs to be and is in the Czech Republic done in accordance with the GDPR. Now, which means that I mean, there would be a lot of specifics depending on the business of a startup, but in principle, any collection of something that can be qualified as a personal data under the Czech and European laws needs to be approved, specifically approved by the owner of the data, by the source of the data, by the person which data are collected. So they need to specifically consent to the use of data, to the collection of data, and of course that level of consent, you know, this is something that is up to well, there's a sort of gray area because obviously, on the one hand, if you would be completely compliant with the GDPR, you would not be able to do any marketing, for example. You know, even my collection of the names from the screen here, I wouldn't be, you know, I maybe wouldn't be able to write an email to you after this. So you try, and it is created by the praxis as we speak now, because there are data protection authorities in each country that have relatively severe competencies to punish through financial penalties. And there was a couple of such penalties in the international press, for example, from France, issued towards some of the global companies that can penalize non-compliance with the GDPR. Czech Republic and Czech authority has so far been very modest. You know, there was no, I would say there was nothing, there was certainly no financial penalty issued in excess of, well, in excess for $30,000 US, for example, you know, so nothing more than that. But I think it is actually a matter of time only. Now, I don't know whether you wish to further specify the question or whether the question was targeted on something else.
It's about the control of the state using geolocalization by the people from suffering some kind of disease like COVID.
Okay, I see.
Share the geolocalization with infect people, with no infect people.
Okay, understand. To what extent this data, which are actually personal data, can be used by the government without the consent, or whether it's
yes.
Well, I mean, in principle, unless there will be an emergency measure, they can't, because the GDPR applies to the government as well as to anyone else. So, the government actually cannot force you or cannot order the mobile phone operators, for example, to disclose, you know, the localization data of the mobile phones, which would be typically the best way how to monitor it. There would be some exceptions from that are regulated by law that may include the state of emergency, which has been here for 2 months in April and March and April, and where some of those laws would not be applicable, and in particular also if there, for example, is a proven danger of delay, that there will be severe impact on something. For example, you know that there was a source of infection, you need to track it down. So the authorities would have access to the data. And this, but it will be on a case-by-case basis. It's not possible that the government would automatically say all mobile operators have to share all data about movement of people with us so that we can track it down. For this purpose, there are voluntary schemes that are developed, not yet fully functional. There are some private applications, for example, that you can download to your phone, and that can, of course, if the other people that has phones have downloaded and enabled it as well, that will actually monitor and remember for a certain period of time that you are close to the other people's phones. That means that you are close to those people, and in case after 2 days you realize that you are ill, you can give consent to this application, and the application will disclose it to the authorities, but not without your consent. But that's something that some people, I would say there's quite split views on using this. There's certainly not overall social agreement about it.
Okay.
Maybe one thing, if someone is, for example, source of infection, then on the other hand, they have the obligation to disclose and cooperate with the authorities. So if you say you are COVID positive, tell us who you met, then you are under legal obligation to actually tell. Of course, you may not tell truth. That's of course a possibility. But they have. But you have the obligation to disclose it for the authorities to be able to do the research.
Okay.
But that's the personal obligation of the person, not an automatic right to access to data.
Okay, I understand. Thank you. We have no more questions, and I think it's near to the ending time. So I would like to thank you again, and as well Anna too. And senhor Milos, o senhor gostaria de, como cônsul, fazer uma último ponto de fechamento do nosso encontro aqui?
Slyšíme, Miloši?
Já se pode ouvir?
Sim.
Ah, sim, perfeito. Muito obrigado novamente pela palavra. Solamente eu gostaria de dizer finalmente que quisiera agradecer novamente a todos, a vocês, nossos parceiros no Rio Grande do Sul, os participantes tchecos, senhora Hight, Czech Invest, senhor Kamil Blazek, do Associação de Investimentos Estrangeiros em Praga. Tenho toda a certeza que no futuro a gente pode fazer mais esse tipo de webinários, não somente sobre startups, também sobre tópicos como comércio, cooperação técnica, tecnológica, científica, cooperação entre as universidades. Muito obrigado novamente a todos vocês e espero vermos novamente.
Então, dando encaminhamento aqui para o nosso encerramento, gostaria de agradecer ao cônsul-geral, senhor Milos, aos nossos palestrantes, o Dr. Kamil e a senhora Ana, pelas esclarecedoras apresentações, né? Também gostaria de agradecer aqui penhoradamente a nossa colega Gabriela Roth, que ajudou na tradução. Gostaria de agradecer também a todo o pessoal de apoio da ESA, né, que sem eles seria impossível a gente conduzir esse trabalho. Em especial, a diretoria da ESA como um todo, na pessoa da nossa diretora, doutora Rosângela, a quem novamente agradecemos aqui, em nome de todo o grupo de estudos de direito para startup, né? Nós vamos prosseguir esse trabalho. Tenho certeza que se os colegas tiverem, né, outras dúvidas, outros questionamentos a respeito da República Tcheca, a gente encaminha, né, para os canais competentes, os canais de comunicação com o consulado, tanto aqui em Porto Alegre quanto em São Paulo. Tenho certeza que, a partir dessa apresentação, muitas outras questões surgirão, né, que a gente pode, a partir disso, encaminhar. Então, novamente agradecendo a presença de todos, eu encerro aqui esse momento tão fértil de conexão entre todos nós, em que pese o distanciamento. Eu não gosto muito dessa expressão distanciamento social, né? Mas, enfim, que pese o distanciamento, a gente pode mostrar que ele é apenas físico, porque nos conectamos com diversas cidades e com diversos países de forma simultânea, para que juntos possamos passar por esse momento difícil para todos. Muito obrigado pela atenção, tenham todos uma boa tarde.